And so, but I was not going to wear it. It was not appropriate for the character. It was not something I was comfortable with.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Talent Agent Talk, where we are bringing you educational lessons and real-life stories from behind the scenes of film and television. I'm your host, Jason Lockhart, a talent agent, and today I've got a badass guest. It's Sharon Blackwood.
Hello.
Hey, Sharon.
Hey, how are you?
I'm just thrilled to have you here today.
Well, it's just great to be here. It's wonderful to be here.
I love working with you and your career. I mean,
Thank you.
I remember the first time I met you and your energy was like, this woman's a star. And I was just excited to help be a part of your journey.
Thank
and
you
I'm a
so
huge, of course, I'm a huge fan of your work on Ozark. And I wanted to talk about that today if we can.
Yes. I got the audition in July, and it was one or two scenes. I'm not sure.
This was like, what, 2016?
No, it was 2015.
2015.
No, 2016. You're right. And yes. And so I didn't hear anything. I thought it was over and done. You just put them away. Just put them away after you do the audition. And then like 2 months later, I get a call that I had booked this role. And it was going to be 2 episodes. And I knew that, she was going to meet her demise in the end.
They told you that up front?
Yes, they told me that up front. It had already all been written. That first season had all been written, so they told me that. So, I was just thrilled because it was such a wonderful character, wonderful character.
What did you do for the audition? Do you remember any like choices that you made or?
When I look at an audition, it's like, who is this person? And I just go from there. I don't think about anything external at all. I just think about if this person was walking down the street, if this person was put in different situations, who is she? And I also did a backstory on her because she had a lot of anger.
She did. She was very complex.
Yeah, very, very complex. So I did a backstory on her. And it was wonderful. I got directed by wonderful people, got to work with Laura, Lenny, and work with Jason. And then we filmed the death scene in the fall. And so it was however it was, but Jason didn't like it. So at the Christmas party, he's like, we're going to film that scene again. He said, we're going to do it like the 1st of February. And
was it the same kind of death?
Yes, it was the same kind of death, but the scene was written a little bit different, and they set it up. The how they did the death scene was totally different. But what was so interesting was I had knee replacement over the holidays, and I'm like, okay, I got to get in those shoes, got to walk backwards, got to do this, because he told me I would be walking backwards. So it was great fun. He was just a wonderful. I got to work with him as a director, and I got to work with him as an actor.
What was he like?
Well, he's just delightful, and he's focused on the business, but he's just a lovely man, and everybody was lovely. Laura was lovely, and I played Sam's mother, of course, and Kevin is delightful. So it was a wonderful set, and it was just a pleasure to be on.
And it's a pleasure to know you didn't really get hit by a bus and you're sitting here sharing the story with us.
Well, what I say is, I survived and they paid me a lot of money.
Love that. Well, let me ask. Yeah. So it was a wonderful experience and it went over the course of months.
Yeah.
And numerous episodes.
Yeah. And I had to go to California for a opening premiere at the Academy of Motion Pictures at Sam Goldwyn Theater for Loving. And so there was a little, working back and forth on that. And we had to, they had told me I wasn't going to be working, so I scheduled my flight because I was meeting someone out there. And then casting director called and said, "Oh, you're going to be working," and that was that day. And I'm like, "No, I'm not." You don't, and everything, you have everything documented. So I said, "I'm going to have to change my plane, so I need, to be reimbursed for that." And went back and forth a little bit, and I stood my ground, and I said, "Yes, you will." And my agent, the AMT said, "Yes, you will." And it worked out, and it was great. And what was really nice was because Joel Edgerton, I played his mother in Loving, and he and Jason had just directed and written The Gift, and Jason was in The Gift, so it was just kind of neat.
What a small little world.
It is a small world.
I feel like the more you're working, the smaller the world gets, you know?
Yes, because you work with people. This summer, I worked with a line producer. This was our third project we've worked on. And Loving was the first one, and there's just something about the comfort and everything of knowing, who you're working for and who you're working with.
And I feel like you're always working. Like you always have something coming out or something that was just recently on. And I
don't feel that way.
That's because you're humble AF and you're always looking forward to the next one. But, from the outside, you're a consistent working actress and a really good one. Yeah. Which makes me kind of come to this question of between Ozark or maybe something else, has there really been a great lesson that you might want to share with our viewers that could help aspire or educate the youth or someone your age, anyone?
Yes, I do. On a project, I had done my wardrobe, and it was, kind of a low-class person. And that's a terrible thing to say, but that's how they had her. And so I go the day of filming, and the costume designer wants to put a bandana on my head that is the Confederate battle flag. Totally inappropriate. There was no reason for that. And I said, no. I mean, I was a day player on this big movie. And I said, no. I said, I'm not going to wear that. And then the wardrobe supervisor was like, that hasn't been cleared. And so, but I was not going to wear it. It was not appropriate for the character. It was not something I was comfortable with. And lo and behold, 2 weeks before that movie came out, there was a horrific shooting with the guy with the Confederate battle flag. And it was almost like, that was from the universe, saying, stick to your guns on this, Sharon.
Oh man, if you're like me and you love these booking stories, then you know that to actually book the job, it starts and ends with a good audition. And Get Scene's Improve Your Audition Boot Camp is coming up. It's a 2-week event that spans over 6 workshops, all online, and we bring in 4 different casting directors to help us do this thing. We go over theatrical auditions and commercial auditions and give you different tactics and strategies to improve those self-tapes so you can do exactly what we're talking about on this show and book the job and actually get on set. So this is only $2 a day. $28 total, everyone. And if I can tell you a little secret, there's a discount in the pinned comments. So head there right now, and I hope to see you at our Improve Your Audition Bootcamp.
Oh, and that's the lesson I'm getting at this, because also with Ozark, you standing your ground and saying, I'm going to the premiere of Loving. I can't be available when you need me just because you moved the date. You're comfortable standing your ground and saying no to certain things.
Well, it wasn't the day. It was the day I was flying. So I was able to work that out, but I wasn't going to spend $500 changing my plane ticket because they had already given me permission to go on that day.
I love that you stand your ground and you don't do it with demands and any kind of arrogance or entitlement or aggression. You just do it as you sit there comfortably, confident. Like, this is what I believe in, and I'm not comfortable with that.
Well, we're in a profession, and I came from the singing world, and things were very, methodical. The acting world is not quite that methodical, but I find that being, maybe that's not the right word, but being professional on both sides of the equation makes for a better product.
You hear that, everybody? That's huge, Sharon.
And Jason saying, I didn't like that death scene, we're going to do another one, that told me, he cares. He cares about the quality of what's happening on film.
And look what happened with that series. Tons of awards all the way through the final season. Mm-hmm. Very well deserved.
Thank you.
And it's great to hear that back end side of it. Mm-hmm. Well, that brings me to one final question, if you don't mind answering. And
No.
you mentioned singing, and so it just got me thinking, if you had a dream role, something you haven't done yet, something you'd love to do, what would it be?
The aging opera singer who happens to be Walt Goggins' mother.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's from here. And I didn't know him. He's a lot younger than I am. But I'm like, yes, I can be Walt Goggins' mother.
You hear that, Walt? We're going to tag you and make sure that you cast her or help get her cast as your mom, all right?
I remember his first big role, and it was astounding.
He's
Just
great.
astounding.
I love him on Righteous Gemstones so much. But everything he does.
Yeah, everything he does, he brings a new level to the project.
And I've heard he's really great to work with.
Oh, I'm
that
sure
he just loves everyone.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. As a quick token, to say thank you for being here, what if I were to tell you that you get a free car?
I get a free car. Oh, if I get a free car.
So I've got this Star Wars bag from Sarah Carpenter. She saw this and thought of me. And inside are a bunch of cars. So I would like you, watch out for the mic, but feel free to reach in without looking and grab yourself a car.
Oh.
Very curious to see, what are you going to get?
Hot dog.
Oh, wow. Which one is that? Let's see. What'd you get? A Lotus. She's got a Lotus. You belong in a Lotus. That's great, Sharon.
Oh, well, maybe my next job, No.
Let's do it.
Let's
book something that buys the Lotus.
No, that's not what I'd spend it on. But it is a cool car. I see one every once in a while and go, that's a cool car.
And now you're the proud owner.
I am.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm so glad you were here. To all of our audience, thank you for watching. Thank you to Jesse Malinowski and Get Seen Studios for producing Talent Agent Talk. And if you would like to be a guest on this show and you've got an inspirational story or a nice lesson that you learned from a booking or on set, feel free to pitch it directly to us at talentagenttalk@gmail.com. Again, that is talentagenttalk@gmail.com. Looking forward to it, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Thanks again so much for watching. And if you loved that story and were interested to learn more about the casting office that actually cast that show, then I have some really cool news, because our sister show, Get Seen Unscripted, actually had them on the show. So you'll see it right here. Do not miss that episode. Over an hour on one-on-one with that casting director, talking about things that they like, don't like, to help give you the edge in your next audition. So thanks again so much for tuning in and watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you on the next one.